Last time on the Timeshift.
Next week we're going to be doing the look back at the Christmas special. Next week we're going to be doing Whoops.
The Timeshift.
Hello and welcome to the Timeshift. This week we're looking at the 2016 Christmas special of Doctor Who entitled The Return of Doctor Mysterio. Now if you haven't seen this episode before, this video is going to be spoiler heavy, so if you haven't seen it, it's going to get spoilt for you. But with that said, it's been over a year now since it come out, so if you've not seen it by now, you have no bloody excuse. Oh dear. Anyway, enough waffling from me, time to dive headfirst into the review! Alright, so here we are, almost a year since the original episode went to air, and it's only now that we're finally doing the review. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, the reason why I haven't done it before this is because other things came up. Life happened as the thing that YouTubers offered. Oh god, did I really just call myself a YouTuber? Ugh. Just the sensation that makes me want to take an immediate shower. But anyway, like I was saying, things happened. University commitments. I recently had become an uncle, so I couldn't really do the loud, screamy, shouty thing when we got the little baby in the house, because you know it probably would have waken him up. I had stuff to do with university, potential job things. When I did eventually get time around to actually recording it, which was in the summertime when I made that wonderful video where I promised almost weekly content from then until now, which really didn't transpire now, did it? Shortly after that, I did record the review for it, and there may be some footage of it floating around the screen right now. I didn't go through with it for two reasons. One, because it was fucking hot, and two, because it was recorded on the same day that the announcement as to who the new Doctor was, so I was kind of very distracted at that point. I did try and record it at different dates, but usually things came up. My parents went on holiday, I got food poisoning, I got toothache, and this week I had the flu. As soon as we've only got a couple of days left, I might as well do it now, otherwise it's never going to get done. Of course, I'd rather not do it at all, to be frank and honest, because as far as Doctor Who episodes go, this is one of the more unremarkable ones, and the fact that it actually constitutes a Christmas special is kind of a little bit disappointing. I have to say that when I heard that they were going to have superheroes in Doctor Who, there were two potential opportunities that came to mind. One, the whole guy with the G on his chest is going to be some kind of Time Lord who has gone up to some wacky mischief on Earth and he's become a superhero, living up to the comic book superhero super fun. He's taking the opportunity to save the day and maybe sell a bit of merchandise on the side, you know, like a kind of meddling monk kind of character, a character that's kind of shifty and iffy. He's kind of got a good heart, but he's kind of just in it for the money. You know, that would have been interesting. Or alternatively, a deconstruction of superhero tropes within a universe that didn't really have them before. How an ultimate godlike being meets up with an ultimate godlike being. A clash of those two personalities. And thus we briefly do get that within the episode, which is oh so eloquently put by Nordal in the episode, where he says, to the effect of, because it has been a year since the episode, yeah, well, you know, maybe he's doing a good thing. I mean, you know, he's pretty much doing the same thing as you, and what gives you the right to save the world? And then the Doctor just gives him that look like, you fucking what? I love that bit. I love the Doctor being called out on his bullshit on this, because space superhero man whom I forget the name of, Gyro Boy, he was great. He saved the day. He was the most generic, pointless, depthless, shallow superhero I think I've seen in a very, very long time. But you know, his heart was in the right place. He saved the day. You know, I have to say that this does feel like an episode written by someone who doesn't really know much about superheroes, full stop. Now, I'm not going to sit here and espouse that I'm some kind of comic book fanboy, that I'm a Marvel book lover or a DC fan or anything like that. The only comics I really read are Judge Dredd, and there's nothing heroic about those comics, for Christ's sake. But this episode feels like someone who vaguely knows what a superhero is, so kind of sort of wrote an episode with something resembling a real superhero, which in the end just felt like something that was so horribly dated it was kind of off-putting. This is an episode which is filled with bad decisions, both not in terms with the characters themselves and their decisions, but also with the writing itself. Now, this is the point where I'm actually glad that I'm doing this review again, as in the original review, I was kind of a little bit too harsh on it. I didn't really give it a fair airing, and here and now, I have to say that there is some novelty in it. There is still some enjoyability to be had. I did like the main villains of this episode, at least from an aesthetic standpoint. I like the idea of this almost 1950s B-movie-esque villain. These alien brains in jars that are trying to take over the world. And I thought that an episode with them would have been fantastic, just not in this. I thought that the whole idea of the Doctor meeting a real-life superheroes being reintroduced into a world that's never had them before, would be fantastic and interesting. However, the more that we linger on that idea, the more it just feels odd. The Doctor is a time traveller. At some point or another, he's going to have been in around Christmas 2016, or at least in the months leading up to that. This guy being a superhero isn't going to have been a recent invention. He's probably going to have been doing it pretty much from the time that he was able to go out late. Pretty much from the age of 13 or 15 onwards, depending on just how broken a neighbourhood he came from. So the idea that the Doctor, in the past 20 or 30 years that this lad has had superpowers, never at all came across him and didn't at all know he existed, just feels very, very odd. And it's one of those weird plot hole moments that kind of ruins Doctor Who in that regard. But, of course, if we were to get worried about plot holes in Doctor Who, I'd never watch it at all. Take a moment to clear my throat because I've still got a cold. I have to say, though, that I do feel that there are many missed opportunities, again, from the thematic standpoint, to really drive this home. I think that the feeling that this guy who wrote this episode hasn't really got a grasp of superhero tropes or traditions, bar the most superhero, Superman kind of way, kind of does limit the episode. We are living in an age now where pretty much every week another superhero movie is released, going over the same kind of tropes and traditions that have been and will continue to be from now until the Earth gets eaten by the sun. That's always going to be happening. We've not quite reached the full post-modern superhero era as yet, even though we briefly got to it with Deadpool. We've not really had this moment where people are taking a critical look in the superhero way, at least in a way that doesn't feel depressing or indeed pretentious. This could have been an opportunity to really lead that charge, to do something new and different, to challenge ideas in ways that don't feel politically clumsy as some of the episodes this past series have been. Though with that said, I would have been perfectly fine with just another light, bright Doctor Who adventure where the Doctor saves the day with the assistance of his companion and maybe makes the odd witty quip and fun little moment here and there. I'd have been fine with that. I would have been fine with this episode was it just Robot of Sherwood, which I know a lot of people hate, but I really, really like because it was a fun and exciting episode. This episode wasn't really fun, not through lack of trying, and I put that down to the fact that all the characters, bar the Doctor and Nordal, were really, really limp. I mean, good grief. Like I said previously, our lead character, our superhero, Thermo Man, he was just such a wet lettuce of a character. Oh, he's trying to save the day. He's got the nerdy Peter Parker, Clark Kent-like glasses on. He's just an ordinary guy leading a secret double life. He has the alter ego of Amazing Man, but by day he's just a nanny, because nannies can do cool things too, kids. Ha ha ha. Especially male nannies, because this show is so hashtag progressive. Ha 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 ha. Oh God, my own sarcasm's killing me. The entire opening to this episode, I could practically hear the writer's back snapping as he desperately bent over backwards to get this entire monstrosity into gear, just finding an excuse for this episode to begin. I hate it. I personally hate it when I'm watching or reading something where the writers had to so laboriously justify the main plot character or some form of motivation to exist. The only reason this guy's a superhero is because he ate a thing. He ate a thing that a guy that calls himself a doctor gave him. And the Doctor at no point in the intervening years thought to himself, I gave that kid something that may well kill him, it might be radioactive, it may give him space AIDS or something like that. But no, he didn't really give it much thought. He never came back to maybe giving a lozenge or something to expunge it from his system. No, he just went off to fuck around for a while because this is an episode from the era Stephen Moffat where ramifications of people's actions really don't fucking matter unless they're the bad guy, in which case they'll die in some form of an ironic way. I mean, that entire bit towards the start of the episode, we got a little crappy American kid like, "Oh, golly jeepers, man! Oh, what you doing on the roof? Are you Santa Claus? Oh, you're a doctor, hey? I'm just a poor boy from America, and I got myself a cold. What you gonna do? I tried to ask my mom to put the heating up, but she just beat me with sticks. And my dad's no better at all. He makes me wear ice cubes in my pajamas just to make the cold worse. Oh, golly jeepers, if only we had some form of universal health care, then maybe I wouldn't currently be dying right now of some undisclosed flu." "Oh, what you got there, Doctor Man? You got yourself a glass of water and you've handed me this strange alien artifact that's glowing and pulsating in my hand and probably giving me radiation poisoning right now. Oh, this must be some form of alien remedy or something like that. No. Oh, what's that, Doctor? I wasn't supposed to eat it. Oh, I'm sure I'll be perfectly fine, though. Oh, fuck, I'm floating. I mean, he floated there and then. The doctor didn't think, oh, yeah, maybe I should do something about this. Maybe I should give him some, I forget the name of them things, laxatives, and then just had it away there and then. Sure, the kid's going to spend Christmas shitting, but at least he'll not turn out into a man who did good for people. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what the doctor had an issue with him being a superhero. And it was just another ally at the end of the day. The doctor can't be on Earth all the time to save the day, and wouldn't some kind of morally righteous superhero, one that actually doesn't kill people, would be a good thing? I mean, the doctor, yeah, he doesn't kill people, but he fucking does. And having a guy who that subscribes to the classic superhero belief of, I'm gonna save the day, I'm gonna find the bad guy, ho ho ho, you got yourself a gun there, that's a cute thing there, maybe you should have spent more time in school, crunch, as he destroys the gun and then he takes him away to go into the prison. You know, he saves the day, he does the good thing, he doesn't mope about with a CGI'd off moustache or grunt and bark like a dog.
Doctor Who, do you bleed? Well, you will.
Oh God, not again! And so on to the performance section, where I briefly talk about performances. As for Peter Capaldi, as always, great, good and fantastic, despite the fact they had to have him being #quirky with his bit where he's walking around on his stealthy mission with sushi. Ha 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 ha! So wacky and hilarious. Never change, Doctor. Never change. Ha 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 ha. Also in this episode, this was the first time that Nordal was really a companion of the Doctor, and I thought it was great. Really great performance from Matt Lucas. I love the fact that he called the Doctor out on his bullshit. I mean, someone had to do it sooner or later. I mean, is it really such a big problem if a good guy with superpowers saves the day? Or has Doctor got such a hero complex that definitely has to be the one to save the day? Sorry, my throat's feeling a little bit tickly now. I could cough at any moment. As for the extended cast, they kind of just did the job that they needed to. No other performance bar the main two really stood out to me. Superhero Man was there, the most generic interpretation of a superhero I think we've seen in a very long time. A performance that felt as though it was straight out of one of those very bad mid-90s superhero movies that's desperately trying to be kind of quirky. Hey, look, he's a superhero, but he's also a nanny, a male nanny. Ha ha! Oh, what japes! Please, Mr. Corbin, finance this movie, please. I mean, you've made movies about fish that. You'll make any kind of movie, it seems. As for lady, woman, female love interest, hashtag damsel in distress, everyday misogyny woman. And as for the villains, they were there. They were there. Yeah, the guy's face got opened up. I'm just realising their plan was kind of fucking flawed. Their whole thing was that they were going to slowly infiltrate humanity by getting the biggest and most important people in world society, presidents, prime ministers, kings, queens, vermin lord supremes, to come along and have their head brains swapped. But surely by the big scar on the face and all the weird juice coming out of the nose, see, people would have got suspicious sooner rather than later. I mean, sure, that doesn't really factor into much in the grand scheme of things, because, yeah, it kind of looks obvious. That's kind of the point for us, the audience, so that we know these things, because as audience members, we're really fucking thick. Or at least that's what the kind of impression I get from most Doctor Who episodes these days seems to be. I mean, it wouldn't be so bad had the episode ended with them being foiled, but no, they got away. They got away for the inevitable sequel that will never happen. Much like the continuation to Sleep No More, which is never going to happen either. Boy, don't you just love it when people set up sequels when it doesn't really seem as though they have much room to go after this? When the original thing is so poorly received that the whole notion of them making a sequel whatsoever is kind of fool's play, you know? I mean, it could be worse. It could be like making a science fiction movie that finishes so neatly that to make a third part in its series would kind of be very, very difficult, if not kind of impossible. But if you're watching these episodes these time shifts in order of the episodes coming out, you may or may not know what I'm referring to. Yeah, I'm getting distracted now. Let's just go into the overview. And now the overview. What did I think of the episode as a whole? As a whole, it was fairly crap and disposable. I'm going to keep the overview fairly short because I'm starting to get delirious again from coughing so hard. So I'll just say this. To its defence, the fact it is so disposable is kind of the ultimate plus to this episode. As Christmas Day comes around, you want to spend it with your family, just sitting back, relaxing, enjoying the warmth, the milk of human kindness, meeting people that you've not seen in a very long time, enjoying the season with one another, being good to one another, watching the warm glow on your friends and family's faces when you give them a present, seeing the look on their face when you open a present that you really, really like, enjoying the season with good food, good music and good people all around you, enjoying it for that brief moment of time in which all is right with the world. I mean, we don't need anything big, bold, crazy or controversial. We just need something that's going to ease us through that very, very long evening of Christmas entertainment. And as far as episodes go, it does that perfectly well. Though with that said, I kind of prefer it just being disposable over this year when we've got the big, epic Doctor Who Regenerates episode. He's teaming up with the First Doctor, who may or may not say something sexist depending on the rumours that you hear. Oh, what accent's the new Doctor gonna have? Is it gonna be her native Yorkshire accent, or are they gonna kill her accent and make us speak with RP? We'll soon see about that. I'll have to get some arsenic or suicide pills on standby from the inevitable hashtag cringe moments happen. Still, a disposable episode is always better than an episode where I actively have to be watching it, I suppose. I don't know. The next time shift is going to be about the Christmas special of this year's episode of Doctor Who, which I will either love, hate or be totally indifferent to. It is going to be the end of an era, the end of the Stephen Moffat era. And I got a feeling that this Christmas special is going to encapsulate all the good, bad and ugly of his time as being a showrunner. But we'll soon see. Return of Doctor Mysterio just kind of sort of crossed the line of being an acceptable episode of Doctor Who. Not offensive, not terrible, but it's definitely one that we can all kind of avoid watching. I have nothing else to say. I hope that you liked the video or something. Like, subscribe, things. Goodbye.